Can't believe we're doing this. Cannot believe we're doing this. Welcome on into the stream, everyone. Gonna let some people filter in a little bit. This is torture for me, so everyone knows. Absolute torture. Tweeting out the stream. All right. This is a safe space for Phillies fans to hop on in and vent your heart out. Vent your heart out. That game sucked big time. There's not much else to it. I don't know. That was brutal. I mean, Zach Wheeler pitched one of the best games of his career, and you muster up one run for the length of the game, and then Cody Clemens gets a feel-good run at the end, and your bullpen blows pitcher after pitcher after pitcher. Hoffman, Strahm, Kirkring. Those are supposed to be the high leverage guys we rely on. Those are supposed to be the dogs in the back of the bullpen. Strahm and Hoffman have been two of the best relievers in baseball this year. They were all stars. And they crippled under the pressure, and the Mets played with no fear. You had probably damn near double-digit 0-2 counts on them as a pitching staff, and you flopped. You couldn't get the job done. And now you wasted a Zach Wheeler start yet again in the NLDS. And you have to worry about the bats now. You know, the last episode of the pod, if you guys listen, I got to talk to Rob Thompson the other day during his media availability. And he talked about how the preparation was there. The hitting was good. The intra-squad game was there. It was solid. They did what they had to do. And it just was not there whatsoever. Just realized it went live without fixing the back end on YouTube, but what are you going to do? I don't know, man. It's tough. If you're watching, comment. I'll pull the comments up on the screen. If they're good and readable. But man, today was tough. Was tough. And if you're in the stream, do me a favor, like and subscribe. Let's see here. Save details. Like the video if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed. Would love your guys' thoughts in the chat. because this stinks. This stinks on ice. That that was deflating. That was a deflating loss because you had it. You had your ace pitch the game of his life. Went 111 pitches in 2024. And you muster up one run while he's in the game. And then nobody in the bullpen could come through. I don't know, man. It's tough. And when this is a 5-game series, it's not a 7-game series. It's a 5-game series. So there's a little bit more tension and pressure. And you look at the other teams coming off the bye that played today, whether it be, the Guardians who get a 7-0 shutout win over the Tigers, whether it be the Yankees who muster up a win against the Royals, or the Dodgers, who I believe just took the lead recently in their game. They have a 6-5 lead. And, the Dodgers fell behind early, and Shohei comes up to bat with runners on base and ties the game up. And the Phillies could not get anything going. Their approach at the plate was horrendous. And before anybody tries to say, oh, it's Rob Thompson, it's Kevin Long, no, that's on the players. That is on the players wholeheartedly to go into the batter's box with the correct approach. And nobody had that today. Nobody had. Outside of Kyle Schwarber. Bryce Harper had it, and then he got hero ball happy. Bryce Harper had 2 walks in this game early. 2 walks. And then you have Rojas on second, and you decide to just swing at everything. And then admit it in your post-game media availability. It's also crazy to me that the Phillies have never won a Zach Wheeler NLDS start in 3 starts, where he's been absolutely dominant. Shout out to my guy Sixers Adam for that little nugget there. I'm flabbergasted by how big the moment felt for them today. And that's not them. When they are on, the moment is never too big for this Phillies team in this era. And now you lose your home field advantage. You have Christopher Sanchez on the mound tomorrow. I'll be in the building tomorrow for what it's worth. And now, your back is starting to creep against the wall. And when your hitters don't show up for a pitcher who puts up a performance the way that Zach Wheeler did, I'm gutted for Zach Wheeler because he deserved so much better from this offense today. Trey Turner's approach today was terrible. Bryce Harper in his last at bat was horrific. Not his second to last, his third at bat. Real Muto gave you close to nothing. He scored the Cody Clemens run, but Castellanos got 1 hit late in the game. And Marsh gave you, some solid contact, but it was for outs. Rojas gave you nothing at the plate outside of his great at bat that led to the 10 pitch walk. The Alec Boehm was nothing today, and I need Kevin Long to just yell at these guys and get it through their brains. You don't need to swing at every first pitch. You don't need to do that. It is genuinely okay for you to not swing at the first pitch of an at bat. I like You don't need to do it. It's totally okay if you take pitches, work a count. Look at what Rojas did in his walks. Look at what Bryce Harper did in his walk. The Phillies walked, I think, 5 times today, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna pull it up here. I'm 90% sure that was the case. 2, 1, 1. Yeah, 5 walks. Exactly, CFO Margie. Disappointing loss after Wheeler was awesome. The Phillies walked 5 times. They struck out 8 times. So it's not double-digit strikeouts. And you walked 5 times. You had 5 free base runners today. Harper walked twice. Bryson Stott walked once. JT walked once. Rojas walked once. You had 5 free base runners. And the Mets crushed you when you gave them the opportunity. They had 5 free base runners as well. Wheeler had 4 walks in this game. But when the at-bats got tough and they fell down 0-2, the Mets didn't choke up on their at-bats. They fouled pitches off. They stayed alive in counts. And the Phillies, as soon as they fell behind 0-2, you almost knew it was over. There was no chance for them to recover. And it's on our pitchers, too. Our pitchers need to be better at, like, shoving through the strike zone. You can't have as many 0-2 counts as the Phillies did late in that game and not capitalize on sending batters back to the dugout. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And, it sucks that, like, it's lined up the way that it is, and Aaron Nola's not going to go until game 3, and Nola in these spots is typically dynamite. But Tom McCarthy pointed out on the post game show on NBC Sports Philadelphia, the Phillies are 9-4 in games started by Christopher Sanchez after a loss. Sanchez himself is 5-4 in those games. So take that for what you will. It feels like the Phillies rally after they let down somebody and Sanchez is on the mound and they want to step up for him. But the crowd needs to be better. Everything I was seeing online today, like, it looked good at Citizens Bank Park. Like, the energy seemed to be there, but it definitely didn't have that intimidating factor that you typically see. And it lost luster, obviously, because you squandered the lead. And as soon as you did that, you deflated the entire stadium and gave nothing for the fans to get behind. From the start, you had momentum because Kyle Schwarber hits a leadoff home run, the 3rd pitch of the game, off a guy who pitched in 5 1/3 innings in the regular season this year. And then after that, you let him adjust and you let him lock in on you. And it just blows my mind that you could only muster 1 run off of that guy because you were chasing pitches. You lost your approach. So many guys in this lineup lost their approach that we are used to seeing from them. And it sucks because now you're down 0-1. You are potentially, depending on how this Dodgers-Padres chaos continues to unfold, as it is now 6-5 Dodgers in the bottom of the 5th in that game. But you're potentially the only team in the NLDS to lose home field advantage on day 1. Guardians, they win. Yankees, they win. Dodgers are winning. And it's not the bye. That's the thing. It's not the bye week because those 3 teams all won or are winning and had a bye. It's not the format. It's the approach. The Phillies need to be way more disciplined. They need to have much better 2-strike approach. And the pitcher's got to finish, man. Like, this is on the offense, not named Kyle Schwarber. And I'll exempt Cody Clemens from it as well because he came in to pinch hit and gets his first postseason hit of his career in this game too, that gave the Phillies that second run. But Kyle Schwarber and Zach Wheeler are like the only ones exempt from criticism, in my opinion. And even in Schwarber's one at bat towards the end of the game, like there was a pitch that was close enough that like Kyle's got to swing at that. You can't have the bat on your shoulder in those moments. It was just bad, and I I don't know. I was flabbergasted as the game continued to unfold. Um, there's just it's it's disheartening, and the Dodgers now have a 7-5 lead in the bottom of the fifth inning in LA. It's frustrating. It's embarrassing. You know, the Phillies are 0-3 in their last postseason games, in their last three at home. Lost the last two in the NLCS last year, and now this one. Something's got to shift in their brains, in their mindset, in their approach, and knowing that like this is a big time like legacy series for the Phillies and this era of Phillies baseball. Like you don't want to be labeled as the team who can't get over the hump. You know, 2022, you were right there. You had it in your grasp. Last year, you were right there to get back, and you had it in your grasp. And now to start this way in the postseason after building up so much confidence and just so much like goodwill from the fans going into the postseason, the approach is what it's been the entire second half now, and that's not good. I don't know what has shifted, what has changed, but you know, Topper told me Kevin Long is the best in the game. Kevin Long has to get through to these guys, and I know it is difficult to do that in less than 48 hours, but guess what? You got to be able to do it. You got to be able to get through and make this count, you know, make it so that we're not going into moments and feeling like the doubt creep in and feeling like all hope is lost and making it feel like this offense is anemic. This lineup is one of the best in baseball. They said they one of the times that AJ Pierzynski and Adam Wainwright and Adam Amin were not, you know, gargling the Mets and fondling over them. They brought up a pretty decent stat when Johan Rojas was up to bat. Rojas hit 243 in the regular season, which is the lowest batting average among qualified hitters on the Phillies. But the Major League Baseball average for batting average, like league average, is 243. So at worst, the Phillies have a league average hitter in the lineup. I don't know, man. I'm just this sucks. This sucks. And it's a form of torture that all of you said yes to doing this, and nobody's chiming in the comments outside of my mother. Um, I will say we are setting up a voicemail line for the podcast that should be up tomorrow morning, so you guys can call in and leave your voicemails throughout the game and after the game, and we'll listen to them on the show. But where do we go from here is the question. Where do we go from here? You know, where does this team learn from and build upon such a bummer of a game. It's it's tough, and it's hard to not feel like deflated after today, and just hearing some of the responses too. And I love Nick, and I love him as a leader on this team. And I get that, the sun is out and it's not a normal start time that you would get at Citizens Bank Park all the time with the 4:08 start and the shadows and the sun and everything. There's ways around that, guys. Wear sunglasses. Like there's ways to figure it out. Like, you're out there taking batting practice while the sun is out. You shouldn't have to feel like you can start hitting when the sun starts to go down. Like, that's just a lackadaisical approach, and it's a bad excuse, to be quite honest. It's a bad excuse for this team. Um, I I hope they're ready tomorrow. That's my biggest thing. I hope they're ready to come out like gangbusters and show that, like, hey, we're not going down without a fight. Like, this is our home ballpark. We're gonna even the series, and then hopefully go and take two at Citi Field, um, where you will have Aaron Nola and more than likely Ranger Suarez on the mound in Game 4. So then you have Zach Wheeler for a hopeful Game 5 if things go awry, which hopefully they don't. Um, I'm like speechless from today. And it's like, we made our hype video. I made the hype video for everybody that saw it. It's all over our socials. And the way that I approached it, it's the Avengers Infinity War, speech from the trailer. And when I was putting it together, it's like looking at the way that this team was assembled, no pun intended, and seeing the different faces and when they were brought to the team and why they were brought here. And like, this team is built to win. This team is built to win a World Series. From Harper to Schwarber to Castellanos to Trey Turner to Brandon Marsh to Alec Boehm and Bryson Stott and Johan Rojas being homegrown talent to you know, JT and Wheeler and bringing Nola back in free agency this offseason after he was a homegrown kid, and Ranger and Christopher Sanchez and the bullpen being key. Like, the Jeff Hoffman story of him being a former top 10 pick and finding his way here. This team is constructed to win. They have everything you could possibly want from a World Series contender. And it is up to the players to get the job done. It's not on Rob Thompson. It's not on Kevin Long. It's not on Caleb Cotham. It's not on John Middleton or Dave Dombrowski or us as fans. It is on those guys in the dugout that are on this roster to get the job done. And if you can't get the job done, then changes have to be made. That's the thing. But this team has what it takes to go out, perform, and win a championship, if not more. And that's the frustrating part. That's the overarching, just like, annoying part about losses like today is you have such a dynamic start from Zach Wheeler, arguably best start of his career. And then the bullpen comes in. You needed 6 outs. You needed one insurance run to really like apply the pressure at that point in the game. Like, who's to say this game is not a little bit different with the approach of the Phillies being up 2-0, 3-0 as opposed to 1. 1-0 was the equivalent to the meme where you have the Cheeto locking the door. 1-0 was the beaver dam where you can start to see the water spraying through. It's not sustainable. A it's not a winning formula to win a playoff baseball game 1-0. It's just not the approach you should have. It's not how you should truly like you shouldn't get complacent and comfortable. You know what I mean? Like Kyle Schwarber scoring the first run of the game on a solo leadoff home run on the third pitch of the game should not make you kind of like just be like, all right, we're good. We good. That's not the approach this team should have. I don't think it's their approach, but that's what it felt like today. It was like, okay, Schwarber got us on the board. Let's ride this out and see where we can go from here and see what Zach Wheeler can do for us. That's not how you win in the postseason. And a majority of the guys on this team know that, if not all of them. It's just disheartening to see just the lackadaisical approach at the plate from the hitters that have been on this stage before. I wish I had an answer. I wish I had the answer to why the approach is the way that it is. Why we're just so complacent and so comfortable. You should not be comfortable at the plate when you're only up 1-0. 1-0 is essentially a tie game in the postseason. Okay, it's not a comfortable lead whatsoever, and the Mets never got comfortable. They approached things like their lives depended on it, because it did. If the Mets lose this game, they are in such a worse position going into tomorrow's game than they are right now. Because then, if the Phillies end up winning tomorrow, which hopefully they do, they're going into Citi Field with Aaron Nola on the mound, and who knows who's pitching in Game 3 for the Mets. Do we even have a... No, nobody knows who's pitching in Game 3 for the Mets. That's the funny part. You know, you need it. You can't lose Zach Wheeler starts. He's too good. He's too reliable, and the Phillies' approach today was reflective of that. They got comfortable knowing Zach Wheeler was giving them 97, 98 mile an hour heat in the 7th inning, and said, we're going to ride this, and hopefully, one run is enough. That felt like their approach, which is not good. If you're watching live on YouTube, leave a like on the video. Drop some comments in the YouTube comment section. Get involved with the chat. It's Red October Radio on Underground Sports Philadelphia with KB. It's just it's disheartening, man. because right now the Dodgers are up 7-5 in the sixth. At home, off a bye. But no, let's rely on a Kyle Schwarber home run to be our one source of run production for 8 innings. And then let's not forget, like, the Mets in their last, like, 4 games or whatever it is, the games that they've won, they've come back to win late in games. They have come back to win in the 8th and ninth inning more often than not. That has been their MO on this run here over the last couple of months and over the last couple of weeks at that. Like, they came back to win in the 9th inning to advance to the NLDS against the Brewers. They came back to win in the 8th inning against the Braves to advance to the playoffs. Like, you can't feel comfortable late in games against the Mets right now. With the way that their approach is, they are going to go until you make it so that they can't go anymore. I am just excuse me. I mean, this is a great tweet from my boy Josh on the timeline. I've calmed down. My thoughts, win or lose, this team will always be the one I'm most emotionally invested in. So that's why I get so angry immediately after losses. I keep coming back to them and believing in them no matter what. Believing in them long term, no matter what, because that's what fans do. 100%. 100%. Could not agree more. It is. It's brutal. It's brutal that they dropped this game because they had it. They had this in the bag and they squandered it. They squandered an opportunity here. And that's what hurts the most is that they had a chance to get the job done and they failed. They failed today. At the end of the day, that's what today was. Today was a failure in an opportunity to really just like solidify the full-fledged like belief and trust in this team in the playoffs and know that, this Mets run was what it was. It was the team that was coming in here to try to be like a team of destiny, and you had a chance to bite that in the ass and you didn't. I don't know. I'm just I'm I'm level-headed knowing that, the series is not over. There's still games to be won. There's still opportunity to be had. But it is disheartening and frustrating and annoying that today unfolded the way that it did. The fact that you were clinging on to a 1-0 lead for 8 innings and showed no sense of fixing your approach at the plate, or you deterred from your approach at the plate in the sense of Bryce Harper. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. I'll pull comments up as they roll in. But trying to see if there's any other good tweets on the timeline to sift through. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Like, are you still optimistic? Are you feeling like it's over? I just I don't know how you can have the it's over approach. I get being nervous. I get being um the opposite of optimistic, kind of being a realist and looking at what is ahead for this team, but I don't know. It sucks. Like today was brutal because we had it. You felt confident. You felt good about the way that they were playing defense, and then it all fell apart when the bullpen came in. And that's a scary thing too. Is that this bullpen? You relied on them. They had time off to get rested, healthy. Not that they were overall injured, and they all pitched on Wednesday in the inter squad game. So it's not like they were just been sitting around. But now you have to be worried with the bullpen a little bit until they prove otherwise. You have to you you're on pins and needles almost as soon as you see a bullpen pitcher come in because you don't know what to expect now. Because Strom and Jeff Hoffman and Orion Kirkering and Alvarado and um Estevez are supposed to be the guys, and you used 3 of the guys today, and they faltered. They fell short, well short of expectation. And between those guys, they gave you 38 pitches. I want to say, Jeff Hoffman didn't even get out of the inning. He came in and gave up 3 earned runs, a walk, and 2 hits. Strom came in, gave you a third of an inning, gave up 2 hits and 2 earned. Kirkring came in, gave you 2/3, only gave up 1 hit, but got you out of that. And then Tanner Banks came in, gave you 2 strikeouts, gave up 2 hits and an additional run. But Tanner Banks and Zach Wheeler were your only pitchers that gave you strikeouts today, too. And not that you want to live and die by strikeouts. You want to get guys out in a multitude of ways. An out is an out. But the fact that Hoffman, Strom, and Kirkering could not muster 1 strikeout with all the 0-2 pitches that they had. I'm going to see if I can pull that up, if there's a way to see on the back end on the at-bat app. Let's see. Yeah, let's go when Strom and then we're in. So Hoffman came in the 7th. Or sorry, Hoffman came in the 8th. So Francisco Alvarez got that hit on the second pitch he saw from Jeff Hoffman. Lindor walked on an 0-2 pitch count. You had Lindor down 0-2 in that at bat. First 2 pitches were strikes. Third one, he fouled off, and then 4 straight balls. After that, Vientos singles in another 0-2 count. And then Strom comes in, faces Brandon Nimmo, another 0-2 count. So that's what? Lindor, Vientos, Nimmo. Pete Alonso comes in on an 0-2 count from Strom. That's 4 straight batters. Iglesias had an 0-2 count. That's 5 straight. JD Martinez, you had 5 straight at bats that were in 0-2 counts that you did not record the out. And then you move to the 9th when Tanner Banks comes in. Harrison Bader gets an 0-2 count. Bader gets on base. Lindor strikes out swinging. Luis Angel Acuna strikes out on strikes. Nimmo's back up to bring in that run. That was not an 0-2 count. And then Pete Alonso flies out. You had 6 0-2 counts in this game. From Lindor to Vientos to Nimmo to Alonso to Iglesias, and then Harrison Bader to start the 9th. 6 0-2 counts. And they capitalized on all of them because Lindor walked, which put Harrison Bader to second as the pinch runner. Vientos singles. Nimmo singles. Alonso sac fly. Iglesias singles. And it was all over from there. The fact that Hoffman and Strom had 5 straight 0-2 counts. And you didn't get a single one of those guys out is very concerning to me, to say the least. Very concerning. 5 straight and 6 total in the late innings. Five straight 0-2 counts, guys. It's not good. It's not good at all. To have 5 straight 0-2 count. Like, think about, Alvarez gets that single, sure, to start the 8th. If you get Lindor out, that's 1 out. Vientos out, that's 2. Nimmo, that's 3. You're still 1-0 going into the 9th. And then they lead off the 9th with Alonso, Iglesias, JD Martinez. You don't ever see Starling Marte or Tyrone Taylor or Bader again or Lindor again or Luis Angel Acuna or Nimmo again, or like they batted around because you couldn't get outs on 0-2 counts on guys. 5 straight. That's crazy. That's insane. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that before. To go 5 straight 0-2 and not record a single out is pure lunacy. I don't know, man. That's crazy. I have to tweet this. Just it's gut wrenching. That's a punch in the face. It's a punch in the gut, and shows you the approach that the Phillies had in counts where it felt like they may have been out, and what the Mets did. The Mets never quit. They never quit, and it shows. Also, if you're watching, tag Ghost Energy on social media. No free ads, but we're trying to work with them. Um, I don't know. I will have the voicemail line set up by tomorrow morning. I made the account for everything so that on the episode of the podcast that'll come out on Monday, we'll have voicemails to be heard from if you leave a voicemail. They can be up to 90 seconds, so keep them short, sweet, and get your point across. And then on Wednesday, Liv Smith on the pod with your boy. Thank goodness we don't have the Eagles to like also worry about tomorrow. And let me know if you guys want more Red October radio too. I'm gonna be at the game tomorrow with CFO Margie, so it wouldn't be like immediate. And we also got to record the podcast, but I am distraught. I am sad. I'm mad. I'm annoyed. And I feel this way because I know this team is capable of being so much better than what they were today. I know that for a fact. Like, we all know that for a fact. The 200 plus people that are watching this right now know that for a fact, that the Phillies are better than what they showed today in game 1 of the NLDS. You let down Zach Wheeler. You let down Kyle Schwarber. You let down 45,000 plus fans. And I hope they resonate with that. I hope that doesn't sit well with them. I saw somebody say that I hope every single member of the Phillies hopes their mom calls them and says, "I'm not mad, I'm disappointed." That's what we are. We're not mad. We're not mad. We are very disappointed in today's performance. Stinks. It's a big stinker. And it deflates a lot of the built up hype and positivity and excitement around this team going into the playoffs, and knowing that this team is good, they're talented. It is deflating knowing that today was kind of the first impression of the postseason this year. It stinks. It stings. And you have to win on Sunday. Sunday is a must win game 2. Christopher Sanchez has to be on point, and this offense has to wake up. And they've done it all year, and I hope they figure out a way to prevent it. But this offense will score in the first 3 innings of a game. They'll score a leadoff home run. They'll have guys produce in the first 3 innings of a game, and then from the 4th to the 7th or 8th inning, the offense disappears. And I don't understand that whatsoever. For the middle parts of the game, it disappears, and they allow teams to claw back in and stick around, and you just can't do that. Like, when you're going through a lineup multiple times, you should be able to pick up on tendencies of a pitcher. You should be able to pick up on what they've been showing you and kind of looking at your iPad in the dugout and figuring out, okay, this is what I can do to improve in my next at bat. This is what I can do to replicate my previous at bat if it was a positive one. It is just, it's disheartening that this team did not have any adjustment to their approach. And you need your big money hitters to show up. You need the Turners and the Castellanos and the Bohms and the JTs and the Harpers to show up. You need Bryson Stott to show up at the plate. You need Brandon Marsh to show up. You need this entire lineup to show up tomorrow if they want to have any ounce of hope in advancing. Because it does not get easier after this. It's going to be a juggernaut run if they're able to survive in advance. The Padres and Dodgers are no pushovers, as we're seeing on display tonight. Like, it is 7-5 in the bottom of the 7th in that game. Besides, the Phillies scored the fewest runs in the National League postseason in a game so far. I don't think there was anything less, unless the wild card had lesser results. Well, the Braves got shut out. Yeah. So this is the second fewest runs that a National League team has scored in the playoffs so far. And tied for third fewest. So there's 2 shutouts in the wild card round. A couple 1-run games from the Tigers and the Orioles. And then the Astros scored 2 in their last game. The Brewers. Pardon me. The Brewers scored 2 in their last game. This is why I wanted to play the Brewers. Because I knew we would match up a lot better against their hitters And the Mets are they're annoying. They are pests. They are incessant gnats. And I'm just gutted that we wasted a Zach Wheeler start like that. I'm gutted that you couldn't build momentum off of a leadoff Kyle Schwarber home run. I'm just wondering what this team is going to do, to respond. You have to show that you can respond in tomorrow's game and build good faith again, because right now your fans are questioning everything about this team and questioning whether or not you have everything in place to come out successfully. And right now we don't know. We don't know right now. Make sure, if you're not already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, leave a like on the video, leave comments down below. I'll check them out for sure. Click the bell icon so you know when new videos or live streams go live. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 846 right now. It's a grind, I know, and I appreciate everybody tapping in. We will have a new episode of the pod up on Monday for you guys to break down this first game, break down game 2, and hopefully we're talking about the Phillies going to New York tied up 1-1 rather than down 0-2, because that would be absolutely catastrophic, and I don't know how I would handle myself. The voicemail line will be open by tomorrow morning. We're getting all the finishing touches set up on that. I'm excited to hear from you guys and see what you have to say about these games. Subscribe to the podcast feed as well. Just search Underground Sports Philadelphia. And let me know on Twitter, Instagram, on here, comments, if you want more Red October Radio. I don't know, this stuff's kind of fun, and it's a lot more fun getting the interaction. As CFO Margie put it about, I don't know, almost an hour ago. Disappointing loss after Wheeler was awesome. Zach Wheeler was sensational. It was one of the best pitching performances I have seen postseason, regular season, or in between in my life. And they squandered it. Soiled it. But yeah. We're down, but we're not out. There's still more games to be played. Still a lot to feel okay about. You still have 2 aces and a recovering ace, if you will, in the gauntlet to pitch for you. You still have a shot. The Phillies have never won a series after losing game 1, I know, but they've also never won a game that Zach Wheeler started in the NLDS. Make it make sense. It's Christopher Sanchez time, everybody. It's Christopher Sanchez time. Follow us on the socials at Underground PHI. It's on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment down below. Ring the bell icon so you know when new videos and streams go live, like I mentioned. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star review. It helps the show continue to grow. Helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia as well. Gets us on the charts, which is always awesome. But tag Ghost Energy on social media and let them know that they should work with us. We have some awesome new announcements that'll be coming on Monday's episode of the pod that we'll be recording on Sunday night. So definitely gear up and be ready for those announcements. And let's hope tomorrow goes better than today did and we get a win. I'll be in the building. You'll have boots on the ground coverage from myself and CFO Margie at Citizens Bank Park. From section 329. I'm nervous, I'm excited, and I'm ready to be absolutely ravenous in the stands tomorrow. Nobody's sitting down. We're cheering the whole game. Rally towels waving. It's overall season. Shout out to Foco. But yeah, here we go. Game 2 on deck. Let me know in the comment section or on social media if you want more Red October radio. And thanks to everybody that tuned in. And I will see you all from Citizens Bank Park bright and early tomorrow. But until then, stay positive. Positive vibes. Go Phils. I'll catch you guys on the next one.